who turned their star system into a fortress. Sir, I think Admiral Korth is going to disk. Admiral Korth stood on the bridge of his flagship Hegemony's Might and reviewed the tactical situation with confidence. 1,000 ships, 500,000 troops, the largest military force the Hegemony had assembled in 50 years. Status report, he commanded. Fleet is in formation, Admiral, his second officer reported. All ships report ready for combat. Estimated arrival at target system in 30 minutes. Korth nodded with satisfaction. Whatever had happened to Veltar's fleet would be corrected quickly. The humans had probably gotten lucky, maybe captured some advanced technology. Nothing that overwhelming force couldn't solve. Prepare for immediate planetary bombardment upon arrival, Korth ordered. I want this primitive world reduced to ash within the hour. But Admiral Changwu was waiting for them. Hidden behind Jupiter's moons, the human deep space fleet had been preparing for this moment. Ships that the aliens had never detected because they looked like space rocks, asteroids, and cosmic debris. All units, this is Admiral Changwu, he broadcast on the secure channel. The second wave has arrived. Remember, they think they're coming to rescue their friends. Let's show them the same hospitality we showed the first group. Dr. So-Young floated in the zero gravity of her secret laboratory, built inside an asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. For 3 months, she had been studying every piece of alien technology they had recovered. Begin transmission, she ordered her communication officer. Her message went out on all frequencies, in the alien language directed at the approaching fleet. Attention Hegemony forces. This is Dr. So-Young of the Earth Scientific Council. Before you make the same mistake as your advance fleet, you should understand what you're attacking. Admiral Korth frowned at the transmission. How did the humans know alien language? How did they know about the reinforcement fleet? Continue, he ordered his communications officer. Your databases classify this world as Sol 3, home to a primitive species called humans. Your classification is correct about the species name. It is completely wrong about everything else. Dr. So-Young's image appeared on the alien communication screen. She was holding a datapad showing alien text. Earth is not a primitive world. It is a Class 15 Deathworld, the highest classification in your own system. A world so dangerous that your own regulations forbid contact. Impossible, Korth muttered. Class 15 worlds are theoretical. Your advanced fleet made the same mistake. They are all dead or captured. Their ships are debris. Their soldiers are in our medical facilities dying from exposure to our gentle environment. The image changed to show the wreckage of Veltar's fleet. Hundreds of alien ships broken and burning. The proud formation that had arrived to conquer Earth was now scrap metal orbiting a blue planet. But you don't have to repeat their mistake, So-Young continued. Turn around now. Leave our system. Forget you ever found us. This is your only warning. Admiral Korth cut the transmission with an angry gesture. Primitive propaganda. Begin the attack. But as his fleet approached Earth's outer system, the trap revealed itself. What appeared to be empty space suddenly filled with human ships, hundreds of them, decloaking simultaneously. They had been hiding throughout the solar system using technology the aliens didn't understand. Alert! Alert! The alien sensors erupted. Multiple contacts! Human fleet emerging from concealment. Admiral Changwu smiled as his ships surrounded the alien reinforcement fleet. All units, you are authorized to engage. Show them what happens when you threaten our home twice. The human ships attacked from every direction, but these weren't the defensive vessels that had fought the first alien fleet. These were humanity's deep space warships, built specifically for this kind of battle. Pilot Jinwu led his fighter squadron in a diving attack on the alien flagship. His ship was small and fast, designed to exploit the weaknesses in alien technology that Dr. So-Young had discovered. Remember, he told his pilots, their shields are strongest at the front and back. Hit them from the sides where their generators can't compensate. The human fighters struck like a swarm of angry insects. They were too small and too fast for the alien capital ships to target effectively. But their weapons could penetrate alien armor at close range. Sir, Admiral Korth's tactical officer reported. Fighter attack on the port flank. Shields failing, but the fighters were just the beginning. As Korth watched in growing horror, the solar system itself seemed to come alive with weapons. Mars opened hidden hangar bays, revealing massive human battleships that had been concealed under the planet's surface. The asteroid belt began moving, each asteroid revealing itself to be a disguised weapons platform. Even the comets were human ships using ice and rock as camouflage. How is this possible? Korth demanded. This is supposed to be a primitive system. His science officer was studying the sensor data with growing fear. Sir, the humans have been preparing for this, not for days or weeks, for years, maybe decades. This entire star system is a fortress. Captain Ara led the human boarding parties that struck the alien capital ships. What the aliens thought would be impossible, humans fighting inside alien vessels, became their worst nightmare. Remember your training, she told her Marines as they cut through the alien hull. They can't breathe our air. Their gravity is wrong for them. Their own ships are death traps when we're inside them. The human boarding parties moved through the alien ships like they owned them. They had trained and captured alien technology for months. They knew the ship layouts better than the crews that flew them. Sir, an alien officer reported to Admiral Korth, humans have boarded decks 7 through 12. They're fighting in vacuum without life support. That's impossible. Sir, they appear to consider vacuum exposure a minor inconvenience. They're using our own corridors against us. But the most terrifying revelation came when the humans revealed their real space fleet. Hidden in the outer solar system, disguised as cosmic debris and ice formations, humanity's true space navy began to reveal itself. Ships that dwarfed anything the aliens had brought. Weapons that made hegemony technology look primitive. Admiral Chang Wu broadcast on all frequencies as his massive fleet surrounded the aliens. Admiral Korth, this is Admiral Chang Wu of the Earth Space Force. Welcome to Sol System. You are now surrounded by the human deep space fleet. Your ships are outgunned. Your troops are outmatched. Your technology is inferior. Inferior? Korth sputtered. We are the Galactic Hegemony. We have conquered 47 worlds. Garden worlds, Chang Wu replied calmly. Gentle planets with gentle species. You've never fought a Deathworld species before. You've never faced beings who consider disaster a challenge instead of a defeat. As if to prove his point, new contacts appeared on the alien sensors. Human ships were rising from Earth itself, launched from hidden facilities that had looked like cities and forests. Sir, Korth's science officer reported quietly, I'm reading the energy signatures from the human weapons. Some of them match our technology. Some are more advanced. More advanced? How? Sir, I think they've been capturing our probes and ships for longer than we thought. They've been studying us, learning from us, improving on our designs. Long-range communication detected an emergency transmission from the Hegemony homeworld. The message was coded for maximum priority. All fleets, this is High Command. Abort operations in Sol System immediately. Do not engage the humans. Repeat, do not engage. New intelligence classifies Sol 3 as a Gardener world. Full retreat authorized. The mention of Gardener world made every alien on the bridge freeze in terror. Gardener worlds were legend. Planets so dangerous that they created species capable of tending and protecting them. Species that became unstoppable once they reached space. Sir, Admiral Korth's communications officer said in a shaking voice, we're receiving another transmission from the human fleet. Admiral Chang Wu's voice came through clearly. Admiral Korth, we've intercepted your orders from home. Your government is wiser than you are. They know what you've encountered here. What do you mean? You attacked a species that has survived 5 mass extinction events. A species that considers your impossible Deathworld environment normal. A species that has been preparing for galactic contact for decades. Preparing how? By turning our entire star system into a weapon. By learning everything we could about galactic civilization from your probes and ships. By waiting for someone to be foolish enough to attack us. The tactical display showed the true situation. The alien fleet was completely surrounded. Human ships outnumbered them 3-1. The weapons aimed at them were more advanced than anything in the Hegemony arsenal. You have 2 choices, Chang Wu continued. Surrender completely and return home with a message, or die here and let your silence be the message. Admiral Korth looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him with fear in their eyes. His fleet was outgunned and surrounded. His home government had ordered retreat. Sir, his science officer said quietly, I recommend we surrender. To primitives? Sir, they're not primitives. They're the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and we just taught them that the galaxy exists. In the distance, Earth hung in space like a blue jewel, beautiful and peaceful, a perfect world for a perfect species. Admiral Hyun-Soo stood in the war room deep beneath the Pentagon. The walls were covered with displays showing the battle in space and on Earth's surface. His staff worked quietly around him, coordinating the defense of their world. "Sir," Captain Sora reported, "President Jeho has authorized Protocol 9. Protocol 9 meant one thing: the gloves were coming off. For 3 months, humanity had been holding back, trying to understand the alien threat. Now they knew what they were facing, and they were ready to show the galaxy what humans could really do. All stations, this is Admiral Hyunsu," he said into his comm. "We are now at full combat authorization. All weapon systems are cleared for use. All tactical restrictions are lifted. Show them what we're capable of." In orbit around Earth, Engineer Boram received the authorization signal she had been waiting for. For 2 years, she had worked on Project Prometheus, disguising humanity's real orbital weapons as simple communication satellites. "Prometheus Control, this is Station 7, she reported. "Beginning orbital strike protocol." The communication satellites around Earth began to change. Solar panels folded back to reveal railgun barrels. Antenna arrays reconfigured into targeting systems. What the aliens thought were peaceful civilian satellites were actually the most powerful weapons humans had ever built. The first railgun fired. A tungsten rod the size of a telephone pole accelerated to 10% of light speed. It struck an alien battleship and went completely through it, front to back, leaving a perfectly round hole. The ship split in half and exploded. "Target destroyed," Boram reported calmly. "Acquiring next target." Across Earth's orbital space, dozens of hidden weapons revealed themselves. The aliens had thought they were fighting a primitive world with basic defenses. Instead, they found themselves facing a fortress that had been disguised as a peaceful planet. In space, Commander Kyung-ho led the human Deep Space Fleet in an attack that horrified the alien commanders. His ships didn't fight like any species the hegemony had encountered. "All ships ramming speed," Kyung-ho ordered. The alien tactical officer watching the battle couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Sir, the human ships are accelerating directly toward our vessels. No evasive maneuvers, no defensive formations. They're trying to ram us?" Veltar asked in shock. "Yes, sir, and they're not slowing down." The human ship Indomitable struck an alien cruiser at full speed. Both ships exploded in a brilliant flash. But before the wreckage had even stopped spinning, 2 more human ships were already accelerating toward other alien vessels. "These humans are insane," the alien weapons officer whispered. "They're using their own ships as missiles." But the human tactics weren't insane, they were calculated. Each ramming attack destroyed 1 alien ship and damaged others nearby. The humans were trading their smaller ships for larger alien vessels, and the mathematics favored humanity. "Sir," Ji-hoon reported from his station, "we've lost 12 ships in the last 10 minutes. The humans have lost 4. At this rate, we'll be destroyed," Veltar finished grimly. Dr. Hyojin watched the space battle from her laboratory and smiled. As Earth's leading expert on human psychology and evolution, she had predicted exactly how humans would fight when truly threatened. "The aliens made a fundamental error," she explained to the other scientists watching the battle. "They assumed humans would fight like other species, cautious, defensive, trying to minimize losses. But we're not?" asked one of her colleagues. "We're persistence hunters," Hyojin explained. "We evolved chasing prey across continents until it collapsed from exhaustion. We don't give up. We don't retreat. We just keep coming until our target stops moving." The proof of her words was happening in space. Every time the aliens destroyed a human ship, 2 more appeared to take its place. Every time they thought they had broken human resistance, the humans came back stronger. On the surface of Earth, General Tae-hyun was coordinating the ground defense from his command post in Colorado. The alien ground forces were in full retreat, but he wasn't going to let them escape. "All units, this is General Tae-hyun. The enemy is attempting to withdraw to their ships. Do not let them leave. Show them what happens when you attack our home." Around the world, human forces that had been hidden began to reveal themselves. Military bases that had looked abandoned opened to reveal fully equipped armies. Civilian structures transformed into weapon platforms. The entire planet had been prepared for this day. In the Amazon, the alien survivors huddled in their emergency shelters, waiting for evacuation. But Sergeant Minho and his team had other plans. "They came to take our world," Minho said to his soldiers. "They killed our people. They destroyed our cities. Now they want to leave and tell their friends where we are. What do you want us to do, Sergeant?" "I want you to show them that Earth doesn't let go of uninvited guests." The human special forces moved through the jungle like ghosts. They had been born and raised in Earth's harshest environments. The jungle that was killing the aliens was home to them, one by one. The alien shelters went silent. In the Sahara, Captain Wu Jin coordinated with the orbital weapons platforms to ensure no alien ships could land for evacuation. The aliens had come to the desert to build a base. Now the desert would be their grave. "Sir," one of his officers reported, "the aliens are sending a surrender signal." "Tell them surrenders are accepted only on our terms," Wu Jin replied. "They invaded our world. They follow our rules now." In Siberia, the aliens had given up trying to maintain their research station. They were simply trying to survive until rescue arrived. But Lieutenant Subin had news for them. "Attention alien forces," she broadcast on their communication frequency. "This is Lieutenant Subin of the Earth Defense Forces. Your ships are destroyed. Your evacuation is impossible. You have two choices: surrender to us, or let Siberia kill you slowly." The temperature was dropping again. Soon it would reach -60 degrees. The aliens' equipment was already failing. Their suits were designed for space, not for Earth's most extreme environments. "We surrender," came the reply in broken human language. "Pleased to help." But the most terrifying human weapon wasn't technology or tactics. It was humanity itself. Biologist Dr. Ara had spent 3 months studying the alien probe wreckage. She understood alien biology better than the aliens understood human biology, and she had designed something special for them. "Release the adaptive virus," she ordered from her sealed laboratory. The virus was harmless to humans. Their immune systems had been strengthened by billions of years of fighting Earth's diseases. But for aliens whose biology had evolved on gentle garden worlds, it was devastating. The virus didn't kill quickly. It just made the aliens sick enough that they couldn't fight effectively, sick enough that their technology couldn't help them, sick enough that they became completely dependent on human medical care to survive. "Sir," the alien medical officer reported to Veltar, "our ground forces are reporting widespread illness. Unknown pathogen. Human origin. Can we treat it?" "No, sir. We don't understand human biochemistry well enough. We need human medical assistance to save our people." Veltar looked at the tactical display. His fleet was shattered. His ground forces were defeated or captured. His soldiers were dying of human diseases on a human world, dependent on human mercy to survive. "Sir," Ji-hoon said quietly, "we need to contact the hegemony. Tell them what we've discovered here." "What have we discovered?" "A species that doesn't just fight to win. They fight to make sure their enemies can never threaten them again. They don't just defend their world. They turn their world into a weapon. And sir, I think they're just getting started. The humans haven't used their full military yet. This was just their home defense force." As if to confirm his words, new contacts appeared on the long-range sensors. More human ships coming from deeper in the solar system. Ships that were larger and more heavily armed than anything they had seen so far. Admiral Hyun-soo's voice came over the communication channel, calm and confident. "Alien Commander, this is Admiral Hyun-soo of the Earth Defense Forces. Your invasion has failed. Your ships are destroyed. Your soldiers are defeated. But we are not unreasonable people. We offer you this chance. Surrender completely, provide all information about your civilization, and we will allow your survivors to return home. Refuse, and we will show you what humanity does to threats against our world." Veltar looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him, waiting for orders. His fleet was dying around him. His soldiers were begging for human medical help. "Sir," the communications officer reported, "we're receiving another signal. Long range from hegemony space, and put it through." The voice that came through was filled with panic. It belonged to Admiral Korth, commander of the hegemony's emergency response fleet. "Commander Veltar, this is Admiral Korth. We are en route to your position with 1,000 ships. Hold your position. Reinforcements arriving in 6 hours," Veltar almost laughed. Reinforcements. 1,000 ships to fight a species that had just destroyed his fleet with what appeared to be their home guard. "Ji-hoon," he said quietly, "what do you think will happen when Admiral Korth arrives?" Ji-hoon looked at the human ships surrounding them. Ships crewed by beings who considered a Deathworld home, who used their planet as a weapon. Commander Veltar decided that orbital combat wasn't working. The humans were too well prepared in space. Ground forces would be different. His troops were trained fighters, equipped with the best armor and weapons the hegemony could provide. "Begin planetary assault," he ordered. Land troops in 3 locations: the large forest region for resources, the desert area for a secure base, and the cold region for isolation. His tactical computer selected the Amazon rainforest, the Sahara Desert, and Siberia. The choices seemed perfect. Dense jungle for cover and resources, open desert for establishing a base, frozen wasteland where the humans couldn't interfere. The first dropships launched toward Earth's surface. In the Amazon, Sergeant Min Ho crouched in the thick undergrowth with his Special Forces team. They had been waiting for 2 hours, perfectly still, perfectly quiet. The alien ships were landing 3 kilometers away. "Remember?" Minho whispered into his comm. "The jungle is our ally. Let it do the work for us." The alien troops emerged from their dropships in full environmental suits. Their scanning equipment showed a rich forest with abundant life signs, perfect for harvesting resources and establishing forward positions. What their scanners didn't show was that every life sign in the Amazon was potentially dangerous. The first alien patrol moved through the jungle in formation, weapons ready, sensors active. They were professional soldiers, alert for any sign of human resistance. They never noticed the tiny dart frog that jumped onto one soldier's leg. The frog's skin contained enough poison to kill 100 humans. For the aliens, whose biology was completely different, it was instantly fatal. "Korvac is down," the patrol leader reported. "Unknown toxin. Medical team to grid 77. But the medical team never arrived. They were dealing with their own problems. The air filtration systems in their suits were designed for normal atmospheric conditions. Earth's air was full of spores, pollen, and microscopic organisms that clogged their filters within minutes. One by one, the aliens began removing their helmets to breathe. The jungle air hit them like a biological weapon. Bacteria and viruses that were harmless to humans attacked their immune systems. Insects that couldn't even bite through human skin found gaps in their armor. Dr. Yunji watched from her hidden observation post as the alien formation fell apart. She had spent 3 months preparing for this moment, creating modified organisms based on the crashed probe's biological data. "Release the packages," she ordered quietly. Across the jungle, small drones released clouds of specially designed microorganisms. They were harmless to Earth life, but to the aliens, they were death itself. The alien commander in the Amazon sent a desperate message to the fleet. "Request immediate evacuation. Hostile biological environment. Losing personnel to unknown organisms." Meanwhile, in the Sahara Desert, Captain Wu Jin watched the alien base construction through his binoculars. The aliens had chosen the desert because it seemed empty and safe. They were building a large facility in what they thought was perfect conditions. "Sir," his second-in-command said, "should we attack?" "No need," Wu Jin replied, checking his watch. "In about 2 hours they'll understand why we call this place a desert." The alien base was designed for standard planetary conditions. The engineers had calculated for normal temperature ranges, regular weather patterns, and stable environmental conditions. Earth's sun wasn't normal. As the day progressed, the temperature rose. And rose and rose. The alien equipment began to overheat. Cooling systems designed for gentle garden worlds couldn't handle the brutal heat of the Sahara. By noon, the temperature reached 50 degrees Celsius. The aliens' environmental suits were failing. Their construction equipment was shutting down to prevent damage. The base that was supposed to be completed in 6 hours was melting. "Commander," the base engineer reported, "we cannot continue construction. Environmental conditions are beyond equipment specifications." "What do you mean?" the base commander demanded. "Sir, the star of this system is too intense. Our cooling systems cannot handle the thermal load. We need immediate evacuation or we will lose all personnel to heat exhaustion." But evacuation became impossible when night fell. The temperature dropped 40 degrees in 2 hours. Equipment that had expanded in the heat now contracted rapidly. Metal seals cracked, joints failed. The base fell apart as the desert's temperature cycle destroyed everything the aliens had built. In Siberia, the aliens thought they had found the perfect place for a research station. Isolated, cold, and seemingly empty, they could study the planet without interference. Lieutenant Subin watched the alien landing from her concealment in the frozen forest. She was wearing standard winter gear, clothing that kept her warm at minus 30 degrees Celsius. The aliens were wearing full environmental suits and still shivering. Command, this is Arctic Station, she reported quietly. The visitors don't seem to like the cold. The alien research team set up their equipment quickly, trying to minimize exposure to the brutal Siberian winter. Their suits were designed for space operations, not extreme planetary conditions. What they didn't realize was that -30 was warm for Siberia in winter. When the real cold hit, dropping to -50 degrees, the aliens' equipment began to fail. Power cells that worked perfectly in normal conditions couldn't function in the extreme cold. Communication equipment shut down. Even their weapons stopped working as lubricants froze and metal became brittle. The aliens found themselves trapped in a landscape that humans called home. Dr. Nari studied the reports from all 3 landing sites, from her laboratory in Seoul. As Earth's leading expert on extreme environments, she had predicted exactly what would happen. The problem isn't their technology, she explained to Admiral Hyun-soo over the video link. Their technology is excellent. The problem is that it's designed for normal worlds, and Earth isn't normal. Admiral, Earth has tried to kill everything on it at least 5 times. Ice ages, asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, radiation bombardment. The only life that survived was life that could adapt to anything. Humans aren't just intelligent. We're the ultimate survivors. On the alien flagship, Commander Veltar received reports from all 3 ground teams. The reports were all the same. Total mission failure. Sir, the Amazon team leader reported, we have lost 60% of our force to biological agents. Request immediate extraction. Sir, the Sahara team reported, base construction impossible due to extreme environmental conditions. Equipment failure across all systems. Sir, the Siberian team reported, research station abandoned, cannot maintain life support in current conditions. Science Officer Ji-hoon looked at the environmental data from Earth's surface. The numbers were terrifying. Commander, he said quietly, do you understand what these readings mean? Explain. Earth's gravity is 1.3 times what our species evolved in. The atmospheric pressure is crushing our equipment. The radiation from their star would kill us in hours without protection. The temperature ranges would destroy any normal technology. Your point? Sir, this isn't a planet. This is a death trap, and humans live here. Not just survive, they thrive. They've turned this nightmare world into their home. Veltar studied the tactical display. His space fleet was being destroyed by human weapons. His ground forces were being killed by the planet itself, and the humans seemed to be enjoying the fight. How many worlds like this exist? He asked. Unknown, sir. But according to hegemony records, planets this hostile are classified as Class 15 Deathworlds. Contact is forbidden. Forbidden? Why? Ji-hoon called up the classification data on his screen. Because any species that evolves on a Class 15 world becomes unstoppable. They're adapted to survive anything. They see disaster as a challenge, not a threat. As if to prove his point, new reports came in from the surface. Human forces were not just defending their world, they were attacking, using the environment as a weapon, turning Earth itself against the invaders. Commander, the communications officer reported, we're receiving a transmission from the planet's surface. Put it through. The voice that came through was calm and confident. It belonged to President Jae-ho. Alien Commander, this is Earth. Your forces are defeated. Your ships are destroyed. Your soldiers are dying. We offer you one chance. Surrender now, and we will allow your survivors to leave. Continue this attack, and we will show you what a real Deathworld can do. Veltar looked around his bridge. Half his fleet was gone. His ground forces were in full retreat, and the humans were offering mercy. Sir, Ji-hoon said quietly, I recommend we accept their offer. Retreat? From primitives? Sir, with respect, they're not primitives. They're the apex species of a Class 15 Deathworld, and we've just declared war on them. The message from Earth's president was broadcast on all frequencies, clear and simple. President Jae-ho stood in the Oval Office looking directly into the camera that would transmit his words to the alien fleet. You came to our world uninvited, he said in a calm voice. You attacked our people without cause. You are not welcome here. Leave now, or face the consequences. On the alien flagship, Commander Veltar listened to the translation with growing anger. No primitive species had ever spoken to the hegemony this way. They offered no tribute, showed no fear, made no pleas for mercy. How dare they? Veltar snarled. Do they not understand what we are capable of? Perhaps they need a stronger demonstration, suggested his weapons officer. Veltar studied the planet below. The strange volcanic event at their first target had confused his scientists, but there were other military sites. Target their orbital facilities. Destroy one of their space stations. Let them see what happens when they refuse the hegemony. The alien weapon fired. A beam of pure energy lanced down from space, striking what appeared to be a large orbital platform. The structure exploded in a brilliant flash, pieces scattering in all directions. But instead of panic, the human response was immediate and coordinated. Warning signals went out on all frequencies. Ships began moving. Defense systems came online. Captain Sora watched the destruction of Research Station Alpha from her command post. 53 people had died in that blast, including her younger brother who worked in the biology lab. "Ma'am," one of her officers said quietly, "I'm sorry about Minwoo." Sora's face remained calm, but her hands clenched into fists. "Thank you. Now let's make sure he didn't die for nothing. Begin the Luna strike." Hidden on the far side of Earth's moon, the human lunar base had been preparing for 3 months. What the aliens thought was a simple research station was actually a military facility designed for exactly this situation. The mass driver on Luna's surface was 3 kilometers long. It could accelerate projectiles to incredible speeds using magnetic fields. The projectiles were simple chunks of iron and nickel, but at the speeds they traveled, they hit like nuclear weapons. Colonel Sung Min received the authorization code and smiled grimly. "Lunar base to all stations. Weapons free. Give them hell." The first projectile took 40 minutes to reach the alien fleet. It struck an alien battleship dead center, punching through the hull like it was paper. The ship broke apart in silent explosion, pieces spinning away into space. "Alert! Alert!" The alien communications erupted again. "Battleship Conqueror has been destroyed." "By what?" Feltar demanded. "Unknown projectile, Commander. No energy signature. Appears to be metal." "Metal? They're throwing rocks at us?" "Sir, the projectile was traveling at 30% of light speed. Whatever launched it has enormous power." Before Veltar could respond, 2 more projectiles struck other ships in his fleet. The humans weren't just throwing rocks. They were throwing rocks fast enough to destroy starships. On Earth, Dr. Dongmin was explaining the situation to a gathering of world leaders via secure video link. "The aliens made a critical error," he said, pointing to the biological data on his screen. "They come from low-gravity worlds with thin atmospheres. Their physiology is adapted for gentle environments. Earth's gravity alone is probably painful for them." "What about their technology?" asked the Chinese premier. "Advanced but specialized for their kind of warfare. They've never fought a species like us before. Look at their ship designs. They're built for intimidation and overwhelming firepower against orbital targets. They're not prepared for the kind of fight we can give them." Fighter pilot Hai Wan led the second wave of human attacks. Her squadron came up from Earth's atmosphere, using the planet's gravity well to accelerate beyond normal speeds. The aliens detected them too late. "Ghost Squadron, engage at will," she commanded. The human fighters scattered like a school of fish, each pilot using different tactics. Some used the debris from destroyed alien ships as cover. Others accelerated straight toward the enemy, accepting damage to get close enough for their weapons to be effective. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Human pilots flew their ships like they didn't care if they lived or died, taking risks that would terrify any sane being. They rammed alien fighters when they ran out of ammunition. They used their own ships as weapons. "These humans are insane," one alien pilot reported before his ship was destroyed by a human fighter that collided with him deliberately. Science officer. Ji-hoon watched the battle with growing fear. He knew humans better than anyone else on the ship, and what he was seeing confirmed his worst fears. "Commander," he said urgently, "we need to retreat." "Retreat?" Veltar was outraged. "From primitives?" "They're not primitives, sir. Look at their tactics. They're using suicide attacks as standard procedure. They're coordinating across the entire system. And most importantly, they're not afraid." "What do you mean?" "Every species the hegemony has conquered showed fear when faced with superior firepower. Fear makes beings predictable. But humans get angry, and angry humans are the most dangerous things in the galaxy." Veltar was about to argue when long-range sensors detected new contacts approaching from the outer system. The 17 human ships that had been hiding were now accelerating toward the alien fleet. But these weren't the primitive vessels the aliens had expected. As they got closer, the sensor readings became clear. The human ships were armed with weapons that matched hegemony technology. Some were even more advanced. How is this possible? Veltar demanded. Ji-hoon pulled up the probe data on his screen. Sir, we've been assuming they captured our technology recently. But what if they've had it longer? What if they've been preparing for this day? Admiral Hyun-soo stood on the bridge of the Terra's Wrath, humanity's newest battleship. Around him, his crew worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment for decades. All ships, this is Admiral Hyun-soo. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you threaten Earth. Today we remind the universe why humans survive when other species don't. All ships, engage. The human fleet struck the aliens from behind while Earth's defenses hammered them from the front. Caught in a crossfire, the alien formation began to break apart. Commander, Ji-hoon said desperately, we have to contact the hegemony. Tell them what we've found here. What have we found? Veltar asked, watching his fleet die around him. A species that doesn't surrender. A species that turns their entire planet into a weapon. A species that's been waiting for us. Ji-hoon's voice was quiet with fear. Commander, I think we've found a gardener species. The mention of gardeners made every alien on the bridge freeze. Gardener species were myths, legends from the early days of galactic civilization. Worlds so dangerous that they created species capable of tending and protecting them. Impossible, Veltar whispered. Sir, look at the data. Earth's gravity, its radiation levels, its weather patterns, its predator species. This isn't a normal world. This is a death world, and humans aren't its victims. They're its caretakers. As if to prove his point, another wave of human attack struck the alien fleet. This time the weapons came from Earth itself. Orbital platforms that had looked like communication satellites revealed themselves to be weapon systems. The planet's surface lit up with launch sites that had been hidden under camouflage. Earth wasn't just defended by human ships. The entire world was a fortress and humanity was its army. Send a priority message to the hegemony, Veltar ordered, his voice shaking. Tell them we need immediate reinforcement. Tell them, he paused, watching another of his ships explode. Tell them we may have made a terrible mistake. The bridge of the alien warship Dominion hummed with quiet confidence. Fleet Commander Veltar stood before the main display, watching the blue-green planet grow larger on screen. His forearms were folded behind his back in a pose that showed complete control. This was going to be easy. Status report, Veltar commanded. His voice carried the authority of someone who had conquered 47 worlds. 200 ships in formation, Commander, replied his second officer. 50,000 troops ready for deployment. The target planet shows primitive technology levels. No orbital defenses detected. Veltar nodded with satisfaction. The beings on this world called themselves humans according to the probe data. They had barely reached their own moon. They still used chemical rockets and fought wars with metal projectiles. It would take maybe 3 days to bring them under hegemony control. Begin standard intimidation protocol, Veltar ordered. Open communications to the planet. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Hyun-soo was having his morning coffee in the underground command center of United Earth Space Defense. The coffee was strong and black, just like he preferred it during crisis situations, and this definitely counted as a crisis. Sir, we're getting massive readings from beyond Neptune, reported Captain Sora from her station. Her fingers moved quickly across the holographic displays. 200 ships minimum. They're not trying to hide. Hyun-soo set down his coffee cup. Not trying to hide, he repeated thoughtfully. That's either very confident or very stupid. He paused, considering. Maybe both. 3 months ago, a damaged alien probe had crashed in Siberia. The aliens probably thought it was destroyed. They were wrong. Dr. Dong-min had spent those 3 months taking it apart piece by piece, learning everything he could about alien technology and biology. Get me Dr. Dong-min on the line, Hyun-soo said, and activate Protocol 7. Protocol 7 meant one thing. Earth was no longer hiding what it could really do. On the alien flagship, Veltar received the response to his demand for surrender. The message was short and came from someone calling himself the President of Earth. You are not welcome here, the human leader had said simply. Veltar's officers looked puzzled. Where was the fear? Where was the panic? Usually primitive species would beg for mercy or offer tribute. This response was strange. Perhaps they don't understand our power, suggested the weapons officer. Should we demonstrate? Yes, Veltar decided. Target one of their military installations. A small strike. something to show them what they're facing. The alien targeting systems locked onto what appeared to be a military facility in a place the humans called Yellowstone. The energy beam lanced down from orbit, precise and controlled. It was meant to create a small crater, nothing more. Instead, the ground exploded. Massive geysers of superheated water and steam shot into the sky. The earth shook for hundreds of miles in every direction. Lava began to flow from cracks that appeared in the ground. The aliens watched in shock as their small demonstration triggered what appeared to be a volcanic event. "What did we hit?" Veltar demanded. "Unknown, Commander. Geological readings suggest we may have destabilized some kind of underground pressure system." On Earth, Dr. Dongmin was explaining the situation to Admiral Hyunsu over the communication link. "They shot at Yellowstone," Dongmin said, shaking his head. "A supervolcano. They probably thought it was a military base because of all the monitoring equipment we have there." "Did they trigger an eruption?" Hyunsu asked. "No, thankfully. But the seismic activity will keep them busy, trying to figure out what they hit. Meanwhile, we have bigger problems. Based on the probe data, these aliens have never encountered anything like Earth before." "What do you mean?" "Their homeworlds are garden planets, Admiral. Low gravity, stable weather, no major predators. They've been conquering similar worlds for centuries. They have no idea what they've walked into." Hyunsu smiled grimly. "Then it's time to show them." The first human counterstrike came from an unexpected direction. Colonel Sung Min had been waiting in the asteroid belt for 3 weeks, his ship disguised as space debris. When the alien fleet passed by, focused on Earth, he activated the gravity slings. 3 large asteroids, carefully positioned and accelerated, slammed into the rear guard of the alien fleet. The impacts weren't meant to destroy ships, but to send a message. Humans could strike anywhere, anytime. Alert! Alert! The alien communication systems erupted with panicked voices. "Unknown impacts on ships 7, 12, and 19. Veltar stared at the tactical display. "Where did those come from?" "Unknown, Commander. No enemy ships detected." Fighter pilot Heywan smiled inside her helmet as she led her squadron through Earth's magnetic field. The alien sensors couldn't track them here. The magnetic interference that would scramble most technology was something humans had learned to use. Her squadron burst from the magnetic field like sharks from dark water. 12 human fighters against 3 alien scout ships. The aliens never had a chance to send a warning. 3 scouts eliminated, Heywan reported over the communication channel. "The Luna ambush is complete." On the alien flagship, Science Officer Ji-hoon watched the tactical displays with growing concern. Ji-hoon was human, captured years ago and educated by the hegemony. He was supposed to help understand human behavior. But what he was seeing didn't match anything in the hegemony's files. "Commander," Ji-hoon said carefully, "the human response patterns are wrong." "Wrong how?" Veltar demanded. "When most species face a superior force, they either surrender immediately or panic. The humans are doing neither. They're coordinating. And their attack patterns suggest they've been planning for this." "Impossible. They're primitives. Sir, with respect, primitives don't hide weapons in asteroid belts. Primitives don't use planetary magnetic fields for stealth. The humans aren't acting like any species we've conquered before." Veltar was about to dismiss this concern when new contacts appeared on the long-range sensors. 17 human ships decloaking behind his fleet. Ships that had been hiding in the outer system, disguised as space junk waiting. The aliens had walked into a trap. Admiral Hyun-soo stood in the command center, watching the tactical display with satisfaction. The alien fleet was caught between Earth's defenses and the ships that had been waiting in the dark. "Captain Sora," he said calmly, "send a message to all human forces. Phase 1 is complete. Begin Phase 2, yes, sir." "What should the message say?" Hyun-soo looked at the alien fleet on his screen. 200 ships that thought they were hunting sheep, only to discover they had cornered wolves. "Tell them it's time to show our guests what a real Deathworld can do."